Alright, so welcome back to another video. So today I'm in the shop and I'm doing an upgrade, I guess you could say, to the lighting or the lighting control. So originally I just had a switch to turn on and off lights in my workshop. Something similar, just a regular old switch. And that's nice. I mean, obviously you just turn the lights on when you come in, turn them off when you go out. I'm often driving vehicles in and out, so it was actually really convenient not to have to get out of the vehicle and flip the switch on. So I installed this Lutron infrared light switch, and basically it's an occupancy sensor, senses when you come in, and then you can set, different timeout rates for how long you want the light to stay on, and as long as you're in here, it would stay on. It also has ultrasonic sensing technology, so even if you're not putting off an infrared signal, it would sense that you're in here. But the problem is you can see where it's located, and it's facing right here, so when you come in the garage, it's great. But oftentimes I'd be over in the front of the garage with a car in between me and the infrared sensor, and after a while it would just shut the lights out. And I'd have to walk all the way around the other side of the car for it to pick me back up again. So I'm going to be making an upgrade today. This is also from Lutron. So this is a 5 switch. This one is the Maestro MRF2S. Basically, it consists of this switch here, which is wireless, and then this occupancy sensor here that we can mount wherever it's convenient. So this occupancy sensor is the LRF2-OCRB-P-WH. So I'll have links to where you can buy these parts, but these come in different varieties. Some are just vacancy only, some are occupancy vacancy sensors. The difference is, with a vacancy only sensor, you would have to turn on the switch manually, and then this would turn it off when it was empty. Didn't want it that way. Some places require that, like corporate environments. I want it to come on automatically and turn off automatically. You can set different times. You can set the sensitivity of this. But what this will allow me to do is, without having to run any wiring, I will be able to locate this somewhere in the shop that makes more sense for what I do in here. So it's pretty simple. First step is we're going to shut the power off. I'm going to take the old switch out. I'm going to wire the new switch in. Alright, so flip the lights out. Alright, so obviously the lights went out. We know it's dead. Alright, so one thing to note about the new switch is it does require a neutral. So if you don't have a neutral, you will have to run one. So I do have a neutral available. Obviously we have a plug right here in the circuit, so that's not an issue in this case. So on the switch, if you're just wiring it to a single light control, it can be used in like a two-way or three-way circuit. The brass screw is the load, which goes to the light. The silver screw is the neutral, and the black screw is the 120 volt positive in. Alright, so I'm getting this put back in. It's pretty easy, but I want to put a disclaimer on this. If you don't know what you're doing, it's probably best just to contact a licensed electrician to help you out with this. But we are just replacing a switch, so it is pretty easy. Just make sure you've got things tight and wired correctly, and now I'll show you how to program it once we get it put in. Alright, so the lights came on. So again, this actually is a regular switch. You just tap, turn off, tap to turn on. There is what's called a disconnect right here. If you pop that out, that will completely power down the circuit if you need to work on the load side. Alright, so there are some rules about where we put this. So it says do not put it on a ceiling higher than 12 feet. Well, I measured, and my ceiling is exactly 12 feet. So we're going to put it up here, kind of in the middle. That way it has the best view of everything going on in the garage. Now there's some other rules. So it cannot be within 4 feet of like HVAC vents, halogen or incandescent bulbs, microwave ovens, Wi-Fi routers, basically anything that can put off interference that would interfere with the sensor. So I feel like a good spot, maybe for me, would be right here. Almost 4 feet. It's gonna be a little less than 4 feet away from this LED fixture here, but it should be okay. right there. And the reason I'm putting it a little closer to the front of the garage is that's where I'm usually at. But if you can't see the sensor can't see you. So just remember that. So if it's way up there, should be able to see everything in the garage. Now there's a few different settings we can change on the sensor itself. So they are the timeout, so you can set it for 5, 15, or 30 minutes. By default, it's 15 minutes. So 15 minutes after it stops seeing any motion. I'll probably change it to 30. Auto on is enabled, which is the occupancy version, and then low activity is the default, which basically means it takes a low amount of activity to turn it on. If it was in a high traffic area, you might want to set it to medium or high activity. So you can go through the instructions and kind of figure out what's best in your situation. So we can go ahead and kind of take this apart here and program it before we install it up on the ceiling. So if we rotate it, you can see it comes off where our battery goes. You can just screw this to the ceiling, or it can be recess mounted. So here's our buttons to adjust our auto on time, our timeout time, or low light, and there's corresponding lights next to it. Alright, so to program it, I'm going to stick the battery in. Okay. Now I'm going to press and hold this button for 6 seconds. It'll start flashing, and the lights in the room will flash. Alright, so you're going to press and hold the light button for approximately 6 seconds. Alright, now that started flashing rapidly. Now it's programmed. So I'm up here, I'm going to put it in test mode. Alright. So the light is on and blinking. That means you can see me. That's what that means. So now, we're going to walk around and watch the light. Hopefully you can see how it's glowing. So we want to make sure, obviously, you can turn the light out, that when I come in the garage, see, it immediately just got me. So that's good. So I don't see it's going to have any problems where it's at, anywhere in here, for sure. So I can just get up here and hit test mode again to take it out. Alright, so I did turn the lights on with the light switch up there. Now we need to leave for a half hour to really test it, because if I just turn the lights off with the switch, they'll stay off even if I move around in here. I don't know what the timeout for that is, but it might be the full 30 minutes. That way, if you want the lights out and you want them to stay out while you're in here, they don't just come right back on as soon as you move. So I'll come back in half an hour when the lights are out, make sure it works, but I'm sure it will just from how sensitive it is. I even was over here at the edge of coming in the garage door in test mode, and I could see as soon as I move it all in this area, they would come on. So it should work pretty well. All right, we're gonna do our final test. I can look at the cameras, see the lights are off, because sneaking up on it might just turn them on. So we're gonna find out. Me just standing in the window is enough? Nope. Alright, let's see here. Alright, so hopefully the video was helpful. Again, I'll have a link to where I bought this stuff. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Be sure to like the video, be sure to subscribe. Till next time, we'll see you later.